Hey guys, Super Rugby Pacific Round 6 is coming up this weekend. The team sheets are out. I've poured over them to find what I think will be the best player picks for fantasy for this round. Before we jump into it though, let's take a quick look at the fixtures. Now remember, we want to draw our fantasy picks from the matches and the teams that are going to be scoring the most this weekend. That is where most of the fantasy scoring comes from. Up first, we have the Highlanders versus the Hurricanes. This is going to be in Dunedin under the cover, so conditions will be very good. And yeah, I really like this matchup for fantasy points this week. As you guys probably have noticed, I'm a big fan of picking Canes for points. I like the way they play. They spread the ball, they get it to the backs, lots of line breaks. And yeah, Highlanders as well. Look, I think the Hurricanes do have a leg up in this match, but I mean, both of these teams are gonna play pretty positively. Canes, they sort of let me down a bit last week. The Force, they did kind of show that if you spread your defense out a bit, you can let the Canes sort of get it to the fringes and just cover them there and kind of contain them that way. The Hurricanes, they're not inclined to kind of just go through the middle, even if you leave them the space there. So that was kind of interesting to see. Will be interesting to see if the Highlanders adopt that sort of strategy as well. But yeah, really liking this game for fantasy picks. Straight after that though, in Canberra, we have the Brumbies versus the Chiefs. Conditions for this game do look like they're going to be dry, which is nice. That is not going to be the case for some of the other games this round. And yeah, look, for fantasy, I think this game's going to be kind of close. Two teams that both have strong forward packs. Potentially this could become a bit of an arm wrestle, but I'm not allergic to picking people in this matchup. Both of these teams are kind of attacking powerhouses as well. And yeah, like I said, conditions are good for this game. They're dry. They're not so much for some of the other games in the round. So yeah, definitely, two teams that we generally like to pick players from. And even though this matchup isn't perfect, we're probably still going to fit a few of them in. After that, on the Saturday afternoon, we have the Drua versus the Reds. This will be in Lautoka. And yeah, there is a bit of moisture sort of forecast for this game. So definitely check the forecast closer to the game or closer to the round starting. Obviously, we're a few days out now, so things can change quite a lot. But look, I mean, we saw when the Hurricanes went over there to Lautoka, the same location where this game's being played, and yeah, it was wet. The conditions were abysmal. The turf just went to hell, man. Like, it was a total mud bath, and yeah, that was not a great game to be picking players from for your fantasy team. I had a terrible week that week, but yeah, the same thing could potentially happen again here, so keep an eye on that. That's the main thing. And otherwise, I mean, even if it's dry, Drua games in Fiji, they're always so unpredictable, man. Like the Drua, they're dangerous there. We saw them knock over the Brumbies last week, put 40 points on them. I mean, who would have expected that? So yeah, anything can happen in these Drua games in Fiji, and that makes me kind of hesitant to invest in it too deeply, especially with that sort of prospected moisture hanging over it. So yeah, always a weird one, the Drua games. Then we have Moana versus Crusaders on the Saturday night, and I'm pretty big on picking up a bunch of Crusaders this week, guys. Like Moana, we've already seen them concede some pretty big scores this season. Their defense is pretty poor, unfortunately, and I suspect morale's kind of getting low after racking up all these losses, and there's talk about Tana abandoning them for the AFB. So yeah, really think the Crusaders could put on a big score here for Moana. Only thing Moana really got going for them here is that they are playing at home, and for the Crusaders, they do have a few green players in. They've had to pull up some 10 from the widest squad. I think he's going to be a very green 10, and having new players in in those key positions that can kind of slow you down, right? That can create problems. A couple of other new guys, I think, on the bench as well, but not so crucial. So yeah, I am kind of, yeah, definitely looking to invest big in the Crusaders this week. I think that's a good play for fantasy. Then lastly, on the Saturday night as well, Waratahs versus the Blues. And again, this is another game where there is a chance of moisture for this one. Sorry, I forgot to mention Crusaders versus Pacifica. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be dry. But yeah, chance of rain in Sydney for Blues versus Waratahs at Allianz. And if that happens, I think that'll suit the Blues, right? Like, even though the Blues, they're trying to be a bit more balanced this year, they're trying to use their backs a bit more, be a little bit more expansive. We still know, like, the heart of that game, it's still that power game with the forwards, right? So if it does rain, I think that will suit the Blues. I think they will try and impose themselves up front, and I suspect they will probably succeed as well. So yeah, again, keep an eye on that weather forecast, but I think even if it does rain, it does kind of bring the Blues forwards into play, especially the type 5, and we kind of like drawing a type 5 from the Blues anyway, just because they score so much through their forwards, right? And whenever they get in the 22, they like to roll their sleeves up, and that gives those front 5 guys a decent chance of being the one to get over the line. So yeah, definitely still room to pick players from this matchup. Anyway, let's get into the players. Now we will start off with the outside backs, our big guns. At the moment, I have Harkin, who is back at 15 this week. By the way, he's played a lot of 10 recently, which is why I've stayed away from picking him. But Ruben Love is going to be at 10. Harkin goes to 15. Should get the full 80 as well. So yeah, really liking this pick a lot. Also got Will Jordan, I mean, he's been so solid this year, right? Like, 60 plus in 3 out of his 4 games, and in that other game he got 42, which, I mean, it's nothing to cry about. So super consistent, has a lot of potential to go big. I have him selected as captain at the moment as well, just because he is so solid, although this is something that could be changed. This is just something tentative. And I also have Severis as well. Already talked about it during the fixtures. I think Crusaders are probably the most likely team to put a very big score on their opposition and run up a bunch of tries. And Severis, I mean, the main reason I've actually picked him up here is just to save a little bit of cash. He's only 7.6 million, which takes a bit of pressure off my budget. This is a pick that you may not necessarily want to copy if you do have money left over. But I mean, look, with Reese, he's probably not on so many people's radar at the moment, just because he hasn't really put in a great score at all this year. Last year, he was gigantic though. He was a very strong pick, and in these sorts of matchups in particular, like against the weaker teams, he would run in a lot of tries just because he likes to come in off his wing, go looking for the ball. He's super busy. He is leaving New Zealand after this season, so, maybe he's just kind of slacking off a bit now that he's not in All Blacks contention anymore. But I got a feeling that he might show us what made him such a great last pick last year in this game. Because I mean, look at the run the Crusaders have had so far, man. Like, they haven't had any easy games at all, right? Like, Landers, Brumbies, Chiefs, Blues. I mean, you got 3 of the strongest teams in the competition right there. And I mean, the Landers, they're no joke either, especially when they're at home. So yeah, the Crusaders haven't really faced soft opposition yet. They haven't really had the opportunity to just run over a team, just steamroll them. This is their first opportunity to do that. That's why I'm feeling good about Reese, even though he does not appear anywhere at all on the top average, highest scoring players. But But look, of course, there's lots of other good picks here as well. I mean, Caleb Tangitau, I'm a fan of this guy. Put in a pretty decent score last week in a losing effort against the Crusaders, 48. We've seen as well, he's got this 76, this 85. He is one of those players who can go really big. Obviously, he's got these lower scores as well, 27 and 29. I mean, that's kind of part and parcel with these outside backs. They can go big, but it's unpredictable, right? It's unreliable. But I still think Tangitau, you know, in an open running game, which I expect this will be against the Hurricanes, yeah, he's definitely just as, you know, he's an above average chance to really fire in this slot. So yeah, he would be a really top pick for me, but he is 11.2 million, which is why I don't have him and why you might not want to pick him up either. Although I do think it is spending the big bucks in the outside backs. I like to make cuts sort of in the props and lock slots, or, you know, elsewhere you can make them as well, but that's a decision for you to make. But yeah, definitely a good pick in my opinion. Beyond that, we sort of got the usual suspects here, guys like Leroy Carter, Max Jorgensen. Carter is definitely a pick that I would spring for as well. He's a bit cheaper than Tangitau, 9.3 million. Only thing against him this week is that, you know, they're going up against the Brumbies, and, you know, it's probably not going to be a tri-fiesta, right? That could be a battle. That could be a tough game. We don't know for sure, but yeah, I mean, there is that possibility there. But, you know, he's a class player, right? He's obviously got the highest average out of all the outside backs. We know he can go massive, and yeah, look, I think if you got the cash, he's definitely a guy worth springing for as well, despite the tough matchup. And look, I mean, it looks like it's going to be dry there as well, so it should be a good running game. Jorgensen, though, this is a game where it could be wet. Up against the Blues as well. Like, if it's wet, it's probably going to be a bit of a forwards battle. Jorgo, he just probably isn't going to see a lot of opportunities, right? That's kind of why I'm steering clear of him. But yeah, I don't like the Jorgo pick this week. But he is the sort of guy who can just pull something out of his ass, right? Like, he is a freak. I mean, we did see that in that match against the Hurricanes, where he just like got that intercept and, you know, got like 30 points just from that. So yeah, he's still the sort of guy who can pull things out of the fire. He's that good. Your other camebacks are still in play. Finianganofo, definitely not a bad choice in my opinion. You might want to take him over Harkin. Potentially Finianganofo, he could go higher, but yeah, Harkin, I think, you know, I'm liking him a lot at fullback. Then you got Morby as well, bit of a cheaper option. He could still go well. Muirhead, he's been very good this year, pretty good in that draw game. And yeah, I was talking about this in the recap video. I think he's kind of might be eclipsing Toole as, you know, the best pick in that back three for the Brumbies. But yeah, just like I was talking about with Leroy Carter, kind of staying away from that game a little bit, just because, yeah, the potential for that one to be a battle and not necessarily be as high scoring as these other picks we're looking at. And then, of course, the red backs are in play as well. I think Dalgunu, Campbell, they both went good against the Waratahs, and yeah, this just kind of depends on what you feel like that Drua versus Reds match is going to be like in Lautoka. But yeah, remember, there's that chance of rain there, right? If it looks like it's wet, I'm just staying away from these guys. If it's dry, you might want to pick them up if you think that the Reds are going to run over the Drua, but yeah, too unpredictable for me, man. Like, that one's just kind of spooky for me. And beyond that, yeah, we got some more sort of situational picks. I mean, you got Radamai, Tavuki, Neatkins, and Nareki. They've been pretty solid this year. Bit cheaper than Tangitau if you do like the Highlanders for that game. I mean, Logonamasi, I mean, he's always my favorite in the draw, but yeah, staying away from it because it's wet. Zan Sullivan does get a start this week, and I suspect he would probably go good against the Tars if it was dry, but I think he is going to get subbed this week as well. Peyton Spencer is on the bench. I suspect he's going to come on and replace Zahn, so I'd stay clear of Zahn. Didn't mention Fihaki, but yeah, Fihaki's been pretty solid this year, and as a Crusaders outside back, I mean, he is in play in the same way as Reese is, but yeah, I definitely place Jordan and Reese above him. Last thing to mention is that Ruben Love is getting a start this week, but it's going to be a 10, right? So yeah, not loving using an outside back on Love when he is at 10. Now moving on to the midfield, and Billy Proctor, he is back this week. He will be starting, and yeah, like sort of talked about this before, but he's pretty much a must pick. I mean, the only reason to stay away from him is that his price is starting to go through the roof at 11.6 million. He's gonna surpass DMAC at this rate, but yeah, I mean, everything's looking Proctor for this week, man. Like, I mean, it's a good matchup against the Highlanders. It's going to be dry because it's under the covers. And yeah, if you can afford him, I think this is your top pick. He's even a guy you could possibly even make captain this week as well. The other pick that I have in the midfield at the moment is Quintu Paia. And I'm less big on this pick, but Quintu Paia has been super solid. Very consistent, solid scorer, and he's looked good. And yeah, the only reason I'd hesitate a little bit with him is, again, like that Brumbies matchup. It could be tough, right? Like, you know, he's probably not just going to be running straight through them and getting line breaks and that sort of thing, but he's still going to be a solid pick anyway, right? Just because he is so busy, he's got that work rate. Other options you might want to consider, though, Jordie Barrett, obviously solid as well. Didn't do that great last week like a lot of Canes backs, but he has got the kicking duties. I suspect even though Love is back at 10, Jordie's gonna continue to get all the kicking. So yeah, he's getting that sort of passive income, right? If the Canes do well, if the Canes get a lot of tries, he's gonna keep getting those shots of conversions, which sort of, yeah, just gives him free points that these other competitors in the midfield won't be getting. And otherwise, you know, we all know he's a good player. He can do those big bridge passes, get the try assists, get offloads, all that sort of good stuff. And that's why he's kind of high up this top average scorer list. So can't go wrong with Barrett, but these Kane slots probably are going to be pretty hotly contested this week for most people. You can only pick 4 players from one team, so we need more options. And then next on the list is Tavatava Nawai. But he's done well the last couple of weeks. He's been sort of getting this 44, 45 instead of that 35 zone. But I kind of suspect he's going to go back to that 35 zone this week because Jonah Lowe's back and Tanielu Talia is on the bench again. And yeah, for these sort of couple of games here when Talia was on the bench, he was coming on and replacing Tavatava Nawai. So kind of got a suspicion that might happen again. I mean, it might not. Jonah Lowe's just come back from injury. You know, maybe they want to give him just a bit of a run and then rest him some more. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Tavatava Nawai ends up being the one who gets subbed. And that's kind of all the top picks there, right? Just those players with the top averages for me. A couple of other ones that you might want to be aware of, though. Joji Nasova, he does play on the wing, even though he's listed as a midfielder. And that will be the same this week as well. He's going to play on the wing against the Reds. Did pretty good in this Brumbies game without getting a try, and I mean they could go even better against the Reds than they did against the Brumbies, man. So, you know, he could quite possibly end up getting a try, and he's super cheap as well, only 3.7 million. So if you do need to save some cash for some reason or another, this probably isn't the best slot to do it in because you have so many good options, but that is one way you can go. Have to mention the Crusaders midfielders as well, McLeod and Enor. Remember, Whanganuku's on the bench. I suspect he's going to replace Enor, who is at 13, but yeah, these guys are probably going to go well against Moana. They're both pretty cheap as well. I kind of like springing for them more than I like the Nasova pick, if that's the sort of way you're leaning. But you could well find yourself knocking on the door of that 4-player limit for Crusaders as well this week as well, if your team's anything like mine. So yeah, you might still want to be looking at other options. Probably the last one I'd mention is Sitoa, who does get the nod at 10 this week because Cam Miller is out. And I don't think that really necessarily helps him a lot being a 10, but he's probably going to take over the goal kicking, which is something. He's also extremely cheap, only 2.5 million. And these players who are 2.5 million, they only need to score like 15 points and their value starts to increase. And if they get like 30 points, they'll go up by $500,000. And I suspect because, yeah, he's finally going to be getting a start this week instead of coming off the bench. He's going to have a good shot at getting that sort of score, especially if he gets shots at goal, although I don't think his goal kicking is that great. So he might end up missing a few, but just one to be aware of. Now, 10. I was really anticipating the 10 picks for this round, but unfortunately, Carter Gordon is being rested against the draw. The Reds are resting Carter Gordon, Mick Wright, and Zane Nongor, I think. So, yeah, he would have been a pretty exciting option for this week, especially if it wasn't raining. The other thing, sadly, is that Revez Rehana has been injured as well. I think he picked up a concussion, so he's not starting this week. He's not an option we can pick, and that kind of puts us down to just McKenzie and Barrett. And the two kind of start options here. I mean, you got one that's 12 mil, very expensive, one that's 7.8, pretty affordable. I've said this before, like D-Mac, he was the Fantasy Super Rugby MVP last year. Pretty much got, 60 plus every single game. Tough matchup this week against the Brumbies, but I do suspect he's going to move to fullback later in the game where Josh Jakin came on, and this happened a lot last year. I think it happened in this game as well against Moana's last game, so it's probably going to happen again. That tends to be when he picks up his points later in the game. But yeah, look, McKenzie is the top pick for 10 this week, but yeah, 12 mil's the only reason that you might not want to pick him. Beauden Barrett, yeah, didn't really get much going last week. I really expected a lot more out of him, especially in a game where they scored 43 points, albeit a lot of those points did come through the forwards. And, look, one bad game, you can't write someone off just based on that. So I think Barrett will be a strong pick this week, but again, keep an eye on that weather forecast because, yeah, at the moment it looks like it could be wet in Sydney. And, yeah, I don't think that will help Beauden necessarily. So yeah, it's kind of just about McKenzie for me this week. Now, if we look at the halfbacks, and yeah, the obvious option this week, it is going to be Roygaard, a Hurricane, in a dry match, in a good matchup. Yeah, look, he hadn't had a good score all round until last week, and last week was the time that I decided to drop him and wait for him to kind of show some of that form we saw last year. But of course, that was the game where he picked it up, got 67 points against the Western Force, which was huge. And this is he was the only halfback that could do this last year, right? He was the only halfback who could put up that kind of numbers, and he did it pretty often. So he was easily the best halfback last year. He's probably going to be easily the best halfback this year. Pretty much a must pick, I think. So I have him selected. And only other option here, I think, is Hotham. Hotham, I mean, he's been pretty clearly the next best halfback. I think he is a good option this game against Moana. Yeah, that soft defense, I think he could definitely run through them quite well. So yeah, I'd almost put him on par with Roygaard this week. Honestly, would not frown at all at this pack. But yeah, 2-horse race for me. Hotham a bit cheaper as well. So this is one slot where you could save a bit of money. Nothing else particularly interesting to me here. Now, in the back rows, always lots of options in the back row. Charlie Cale is back this week. He is starting the try-scoring machine. Just so far, the Super Rugby MVP. I mean, it's crazy how this guy has just been able to score tries at will. Currently, the top try scorer in the comp. And yeah, again, tough matchup with the Chiefs. Didn't really, I kind of felt the same thing when the Brumbies played the Crusaders and the Blues, right? But then he still put up these big scores. So yeah, even in the tough matchups, you got to pick him, right? Like he's going to come out on top. I mean, I've got to imagine his luck runs out at some point. There's got to be one game where he doesn't score, right? Like he surely can't go on to score tries in every single game of the season. But can't afford to leave him out just just in case he does, right? So yeah, he's an easy one to lock in this week. The other options I've gone for is Brady Nyotse and Johnny Lee, the guy who scored a couple of tries for the Crusaders last week. Look, Brady Nyotse, really like Yose. I think he's the sort of back rower who's kind of like Kale, right? He can do well in those sort of open running games. He does well running the ball in hand. So yeah, I think he could get those opportunities against the Highlanders. He's really happy to see that he's getting a start this week. Brad Shields is on the bench, who I suspect will replace Flanders, who has also been quite good this year. But yeah, Yose, he hasn't put up many other good scores this year since round one. But I mean, that draw game was a write-off. Came off the bench against both the Tars and the Force, right? So yeah, hasn't really had a lot of game time, but that makes him fresh for this game, right? And I suspect he could do well. And with the Johnny Lee pick, well, I mean, look, he's only played this one game, right? And he got 2 tries in it. I mean, he's not going to do that every game, right? He's not going to get that. He's not going to get that ball come his way to get those tries. But I was sort of, because I like the Crusaders so much this week against Moana, I was sort of looking at the options available. And I mean, not a fan of Blackadder at all. And Leo Willie, I am a fan of. But Xavier Saifaloy is on the bench. I suspect he's going to replace Leo Willie. And yeah, that kind of leaves Johnny Lee. But I suspect he could go well again, right? He's going to get the game time. He's not going to get subbed, and I mean, potentially he could, right? I mean, maybe Saifaloy comes on and, Blackhead, he goes to 6 and Blackheader goes to 7 or something, but could happen. But yeah, Johnny Lee saves me a bit of cash, and yeah, I kind of think he still could kick on against Moana. But as usual, of course, we have way more options. I mean, Tupou Tai lower. Against all odds, he's been one Moana player who's really managed to put up multiple big scores, right? Got that huge 88 in that game against the Chiefs, but even 45 against the Blues without scoring a try. Like, this guy is just so busy, does so much work, he carries so much, and look at this, 21 tackles, right? Like, the guy's just a workhorse. So even though I don't like Moana against the Crusaders, like he's proving to be very solid. And Wanga, I talked about Wanga in the recap video, how much I was a fan of him last year when he was in the lock slot. But yeah, he's kind of showing that he's still with it, even in the back rowers, right? Like I describe him as a guy who's kind of like a back, but he's in the back row. Like, if you get him the ball in space or something, he can just kind of get away. He can get line breaks, and yeah, like he can score tries as well. Obviously gets line out ball too, right? Like, yeah, very, very exciting player, and I think definitely, a legitimate pick this week. And I think the Blues forwards as well, I think they're going to go well against the Tars, especially if it rains a bit. They'll probably get a bit more ball. And yeah, I mean, Dalton, he was good last week. I mean, look at this, 25 tackles, right? He is, I think, the leading tackler in the competition. But yeah, I mean, he's just a solid player. Like, he's not gonna, he's not gonna go Charlie Cow mode and score like 3 tries or something, but definitely a solid option. Last ones I'll probably mention, Harry Wilson starting again. Hasn't done much this year, but I suspect at some point he is going to pick up and become, the quality pick that he was last year. Malachi Rampling also gets a start. Suspect he gets subbed for Torian Barnes though, but yeah, interesting to see how he goes with a start. And Hugh Renton is back as well for the Highlanders. None of these are exciting picks to me that I necessarily rate, but just things to be aware of. Then moving on to the locks, I have Derry and Alan Craig. These are the picks that I've made, kind of just lower value picks, trying to fit within budget constraints this week. So not necessarily my top options, but obviously we have Tupo Vai back this week. He's been the best lock so far. Pretty pricey at $6 mil for a lock though. Probably another one to be aware of actually is Nick Frost. Played last week but came off the bench, so he's starting this week, will be his first start. And last year he was very, very, very consistent, right? Consistently good. So he's one to be aware of because he's kind of further down these points lists if you're just scrolling. But yeah, he's definitely a guy worth picking up. 5.2 million though, he is still kind of pricey, right? So yeah, kind of still reflecting what his actual value is there. Beyond that, we do have Derry and Berry, who again, if it kind of rains in Sydney against the Tars, yeah, those forwards will get a bit more ball. Might get a few more instances where the Blues just roll their sleeves up on a 22 entry and bang away on the line, and that's when those type 5 forwards, they can get a shot at getting a try. Could be Derry, could be Berry. Again, the Blues have the situation where they have 2 sort of back rowers on the bench, Shea Clark and Torian Barnes, but there's a chance both of these guys do 80, Derry and Berry. But we've seen this bench situation twice with the Blues, and in one of those games, Berry and Derry did play 80, and one of those games, one of them got subbed. So I think Derry did get subbed last week. Or was it Berry? Must have been Berry. So I don't know, maybe Berry will be more likely to be the one to get 80 this week, just based on rotation. Not sure, but yeah, I think you can't go wrong with either of these guys. One of Dunes, I mean, he's kind of still at the top of the list because he had another good performance off the bench against the Force, came on and got that try, did that big charge down, which was awesome. He could be a good pick against the Highlanders because we've seen the Highlanders have some serious line-out troubles 2 weeks in a row. Like, I don't know what is going on there. It was so atrocious against the Highlanders. And then a week later, they went and played the Crusaders and they just threw every single line out to the back, which is always, the lowest percentage line out throw to make. They went to the back or did overthrows, and again, their line out was a total shambles. So surely it cannot happen 3 weeks in a row, right? But yeah, maybe picking up these Kane slots, whether it's Dunes or Delaney, if you've got the Kane slots available, there might be an opportunity there to get some steals. And for these locks, look, they get +5 for a steal, which is pretty big, to be honest. It's not something you can really bank on getting, but I mean, we've all seen it, right? The Highlanders line out is atrocious. So yeah, I mean, with these kind of low value slots, it's kind of something you can lean into, and it's not necessarily gonna cost you a lot. Now moving on to hooker, And the big man Sione, he is back this week. Samasoni Taukeiaho. Yeah, he's been the best hooker so far this year. I mean, he's so powerful, right? He's so powerful running the ball in the open or off the back of the maul. He's scored more tries against, very tough teams, whether it's Blues, Crusaders, teams with actually good defense, right? Good forwards defense, good defense in those tight zones. He's just that powerful. And again, the Brumbies, they're another tough team, right? They're a tough team to maul against. They can hold you out with their forwards, but Taukeiaho can still get it done, and that's why he's at the top of the list there. So yeah, you can't go wrong with the Taukeiaho pick. If you do want a slightly cheaper option though, I think George Bell will go well this week. I've picked Bell again just to kind of save that couple of mil, and yeah, I think he just is a good prospect though, right? Like Crusaders totally could, get some mauls going against Moana, and otherwise Bell, he is actually pretty good in the open, right? So if it's a running game, I mean, like it was against the Chiefs, right? Yeah, he could actually do pretty well if he gets the ball in the open as well, get some of those, line break points or whatever. And Jack Taylor, look, Jack Taylor's slipping down the list, man. Like, look at this, 23 and 18 the last 2 weeks, and it's because of what I just talked about, that atrocious line out, right? Like, it's not necessarily Jack Taylor's fault. I'm not sure what's happening there. There's a few different components to a line out, obviously, but yeah, like I'm so shocked to see this happen 2 weeks in a row. Surely it can happen a third, but yeah, until I see something change, I'm just gonna wait until they fix up their line out before I go for Jack Taylor again, because yeah, you just lose so many points as a hooker if your line out is malfunctioning. Bradley Slater hasn't done much so far. Only had these 2 games, got some kind of middling scores, not bad but not great. But yeah, he could go well against the Waratahs. Like I was saying, if it rains, those Blues type forwards get to roll their sleeves up. Maybe some mauls come into play. He's a guy who could do decently, but for the price, I think I'd still rather go for George Bell, at least if you have the Crusaders picks available. And with the props, as I always say, it's a bit of a muchness, very low scoring slot. Not much separates these players, but yeah, I mean, all these guys at the top will do you pretty well. Tarval, I think he got a try last week, oh no, he didn't get a try. Yeah, 33 points, very good. Yeah, I mean, he's sitting pretty at the top of the highest average. I like Hitted as well. Had him last week. He's just been kind of solid, right? Gets at least 20, which you kind of got to be happy with from a prop. But I've actually gone for Martinga and Bloomfield simply because saving maximum cash to spend elsewhere. These guys are only 2.5 million. And I've gone for these 2 in particular just because, again, I think with the Blues, it sort of rains a bit. They're more likely to roll their sleeves up, and that's when, yeah, that type 5 comes into play. Could come away with the try if we're really lucky. Probably not, but, good a reason as any. And kind of the same thing with Bloomfield. I mean, one thing about the draw is that their scrum can often be quite weak, so yeah, just going with a cheap Reds prop here, just because yeah, man, the draw, like, they like to throw the ball around, they can spill it. That means there's scrums, that means scrum points for a front rower. So yeah, just saving money there, and those are as good a reasons as any, I think. And thinking about captains, lots of choices for captain this week. I've got Will Jordan selected right now. You're not going to go wrong with Jordan, right? Like, he's probably going to get at least 60. There's a chance he could do something, go up to like 90 or something, because it's if they do steamroll Moana, like that's just the sort of thing that could happen. There's guys though who could potentially go harder, right? Like maybe Severese is the guy that's on the end of all the tries. He could go higher. Although actually I should mention with Severese, I think there is a decent chance that he gets subbed. With who the Crusaders have on the bench, it's a wing. So yeah, Reese is probably the one that does get subbed. Potentially Fihaki, but I suspect it's probably going to be Reese. Will Jordan won't though. He should be there for the full 80. Other options, I mean, Billy Proctor, right? Like, we know what Billy Proctor can do. We saw it against the Waratahs. I don't know if the Hurricanes are going to run over the Highlanders like they did with the Waratahs, but still, I mean, yeah, he's one of those guys who's always good. He always gets a decent score and potentially can go crazy, and not often has a dud score like 25 or something. So yeah, Billy Proctor, definitely a valid option. And then of course DMAC, Damian McKenzie. I mean, this guy was probably the most common captain pick last year. Again, he's one of those players who's solid, right? He's never gonna get a bad score, but potentially could get a massive score. I don't think that's going to happen in this match against the Brumbies, but yeah, he's not going to get a bad score, right? Like, he's not going to flop because he's going to have those shots at goal as well if it's a tight game. So yeah, as always, solid option. McKenzie could carve things up late when he goes to fullback as well. Beyond that, I mean, I wouldn't be springing for a guy like Kale in a tough match like against the Chiefs. I mean, yeah, look, against the Force, he got that massive score, 113, but even though he got good scores against the Crusaders and Blues, like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I just still feel like it's a gamble, right? Even though he's probably gonna go out and, you know, score 2 more tries and get like 60 points. So yeah, I don't know. Like, if you wanna put it on Cal, you wouldn't have gone wrong so far. So yeah, I respect the play if you spring for that one. And I mean, even Roygaard could do well, right? I mean, look at this, 67 points against the Force, and this was not a high-scoring game, especially in the first half where basically nothing happened. It was like 7 each or something like that. So the one thing I did notice about that game, like, I mean, what the Force were doing is they were spreading their defense right out. They were leaving the middle kind of empty, but the Canes didn't want to take it because, you know, their instinct is to just spread the ball, get it to the edges quickly. That's their whole objective. And the Force were able to defend very effectively, and maybe the Landers do that as well. But I think the consequence of spreading your defense out like that is that, yeah, there is space around the rucks, and Roygaard, he's exactly the sort of guy who would exploit that, and I mean, we did see that in this game, right? And he got a massive score. So yeah, maybe the Highlanders looked at that, might do the same thing, might not, but yeah, just an interesting observation there. And for boosters, I think the boosters are in play this week. I think yeah, you want to do like a triple captain on Jordan or someone, whoever you're liking for captain this week. Yeah, I think that's, you know, that's about as good as any triple captain you could make. You could make duo captains this week as well. Maybe Jordan as Reese or Jordan and Proctor. But yeah, I sort of, yeah, do have some reservations about some of these sort of second picks. Like, you know, maybe the Canes aren't just going to run over the Landers, right? So maybe Proctor, he's not on target for a gigantic score. And even if Moana do run over Pacifica, like maybe the ball doesn't go Reese's way, or he just sort of gets subbed off before you know, the Moana really get opened up, or maybe having that sort of young 10 in there kind of makes things hard for the Crusaders, keeps Moana in the game for longer than we expect. So you know, there's always going to be doubts you can cast out there. With a booster, you kind of just have to find something you like and commit to it. And but yeah, for me, Will Jordan triple captain, that would be a good play for this week, I think. Okay, guys, that'll do it from me. Hope you found this video useful. Just remember, there are a couple of fixtures this week where there could be a bit of rain. Check that Lautaka weather, check that Sydney weather. Don't forget to check the lineups before the game start as well, because at some point one of your players is going to get scratched late before the match starts and you're going to wish you replaced them. But otherwise, hope you have a good rest of the week. Enjoy the games on the weekend, and I will catch you next week for the recap. I'll see you later.